Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we have a new artist to the channel, KD Lang, with a performance of Crying by Roy Orbison. This is from 1990, apparently as a tribute to the great and late Roy Orbison. KD is Canadian, and interestingly, her lowercase name is fully intentional. That's what she calls herself. So why are we doing this? Well, this was a monthly members poll winner. So these are polls on my Patreon, which anyone can vote on completely free. All you need to do is be a free member. So if you're interested in voting on future polls, head on over to the link in the description. The original, Crying by Roy Orbison. What a great song. I have very fond memories of it, actually. During school break, so where you're off school for a week or two, when we were young, we'd be dropped off at a football or soccer course. You'd go every day for a week and play football. And we used to listen to so much Roy Orbison in the car to and from there. For anyone who doesn't know the song, here are the lyrics on the screen for you. It's a great song. Emotional. I'm told KD Lang actually performed this song with Roy Orbison himself, which is very cool. Who knows, maybe I can do a video on that performance at some point in the future if this video gains enough traction, does well enough. So later on, if you're enjoying this or finding it useful, make sure to hit that like button. And without further ado, let's get straight into this one.
For a while, I could smile for a while. Then I saw you last night. You held my hand so tight when you stopped to say hello. You wished me well. You couldn't tell. I've been crying over you, crying over you, and you said so long, left me standing all alone, alone and crying.
I'm just going to do a very quick pause here. It's a difficult song to pause in. It's just so smooth, especially sung like this. And if you're wondering why I have to pause, well, I simply have to for copyright reasons. It's a new artist. I don't know how strict the video will be with copyright. If I don't pause, then my video can be assumed as a listening or a viewing alternative. My video can get blocked, taken down, and then no one benefits. So if you don't like pauses, I'm sorry, I simply have to. But yeah, some initial thoughts. I like a lot of what she's doing here. And I like the authenticity of the performance as well. In an age of technological advancement, a lot of music and songs in the studio can often be perfected. Here, she is doing a lot of what I would call swooning, sliding into notes, sometimes not actually arriving on the note perfectly. Very rich vibrato as well, a slow, rich vibrato. I love that style of singing. It depends on the singer, of course. And voice breaks as well, kind of like mini yodels. And all of these things, I think, just make for a really authentic performance. I like what I'm hearing so far. Let's carry on for a little bit more.
Crying, it's hard to understand that the touch of your hand can start me crying. Thought that
Lovely guitar line in the background there. Very redolent of her vibrato, actually. You know, these slow alternations between one note and the next, back and forth, really contributes to the calmness of this song. I don't know about you, but I want to just sit here, relax, listen to it. If this is your first time watching this channel, this is where we do a pause, go over and discuss some of what we've heard so far. If you don't want to hear my thoughts or analysis, go to the timestamp. Well, there's a lot to take in here. There are many elements of the original song that before coming into this, I was thinking, oh, is KD Lang, whom I've never heard before or know nothing about, is she going to do them, or is she going to change them completely or have some and not others? So let's start with the key, D major. the same as the original song. We can hear a very bare chord in the original in the guitar there.
I was alright for a while.
But then the bass comes in on that D, affirming it. KD has chosen to perform in the same key. She is a woman, Roy Orbison is a man. Typically, a man might be expected to have a lower range, so a woman covering the same song might sing in a higher key. However, Roy Orbison had a very, very high chest voice, went into his head voice as well, as he does in this song, and it seems the perfect range, to be honest, for KD. So in a weird kind of way, not changing the key is almost increasing the level of how much of a tribute this is. That introduction there, subtle guitar chords like in Roy Orbison's original, but the chords are changing unlike in Roy's version. So stylistically, it's similar. Harmonically, it's a bit different. First note, a little bit shaky, and that's the very first thing we hear. Our brains work quickly, I heard that, and I was thinking, oh, but then less than a second later, we can already see her confidence personified. And she's really leaning into these lower notes. They are low for a woman to sing.
I could smile for a while.
Very reduced instrumentation in the background as well. A simple beat. We can hear the repeated root note, this D, in the guitar in the background, but it's really all about KD's voice. A great mix of straight tone singing versus vibrato, sliding in versus directly coming in on the notes.
Then I saw you last
There's that strong bass now.
You held my hand so tight when you stopped to say hello.
Nice exaggeration on stopped. And here, hello, say hello, is where the original goes.
To say hello.
Roy Orbison with his slides as well, so it's like an affectation that KD is either doing as a tribute to Roy Orbison. Like I say, I've never heard her before, so I don't know if these slides, these glissandos are something she usually does. But she doesn't sing that same note at the end of hello.
Hello.
Oh, that's this one. Instead of, which has harmonic implications. Why? Well, the chord we're hearing at that moment, G minor. Roy's note, this one here, that's the 6th note. It's quite a nice chord, this. KD, by going to this note here, look how directly it's clashing with the root note of the chord, G. So she's basically adding even more dissonance, increasing the tension a little bit more, and then resolves by sliding down. Why I do resolves like that is because she's moving to another dissonance. But that's just a bit less of a dissonance. While we're here talking about the harmony, I love the harmony, the harmonic progression in the original song. So in other words, which chords are used and when, in which order. The opening is just one chord for the first couple of lines, that D chord we spoke about. I was alright for a while. You know, all in here.
Smile for a while. Then I saw you last night.
Still that same D chord. When the harmony isn't moving, then you're quite limited because the chords aren't changing. You're stuck using the same notes. This is why we have such a fun bass part in the original song, because it's giving some rhythmic energy or some sort of variety in there. We get that here, and then we get the first change.
Saw you last night. You held my hand so tight.
That chord there.
Saw you last night. You held my hand so tight.
You can hear in the strings, which is this note here, just sliding up one, creating this augmented chord. Augmented just means a little bit more. So this D chord is just opened up a tiny bit. It's quite a funky harmonic change. We still are stuck in D major, but one note has just done a little slide up.
Saw you last night. You held my hand so tight.
And KD's little slide there really complements it, I think. The next bit on stopped is also interesting harmony.
When you stopped.
That's G major. And then it stops. And then when they come back in, they've just moved the middle note down one, another small chromatic slide.
Stopped to say hello. Crying, crying.
I like how she doesn't do anything too crazy. She's making it her own. She has a very distinctive voice, a distinctive way of singing, but nothing too crazy. It is clearly a tribute. It's respectful.
It's hard to understand.
Now the power coming through with that chest voice. The crowd rightly starts cheering.
And start me cry.
Lovely call and response between her little flutters. And then the guitar. All right, let's carry on. And just the final thing, a very important and obvious thing about how the mood has changed from the original song. She is performing at a slower tempo, which basically means there's more time to spend singing each note.
Thought that I was over you, but it's true, oh, it's so true.
Intense
I
crack there.
love you even more than I did
And again.
before. Oh, darling, what can I do? No, you don't love me, and I'll always be crying over you, crying over you, yes. Now you're gone, and from this moment on, I'll be.
Yeah, again, very, very difficult song to pause in. And again, I simply have to. Sorry if you do not like the pauses. So smooth, and the way she sings, so smooth. It's really interesting. You know, we have all these thoughts always going on in our heads at a million miles an hour. As I've been listening to this, I've been thinking, I don't know what genre I would attribute her voice or her style of singing to. It has rock elements in a way, also bluesy elements. It's really, really quite unique. And that descent on crying. Chromatic, and then a jump at the end. And what does she do immediately afterwards? The opposite. Holding that note, which you would expect to resolve down. Like a suspension, where a chord changes, a note from the previous chord is held, causing tension because it doesn't belong, and then it resolves into the new chord, releasing the tension. So she's causing this tension by holding it, and then moves up, which is not typically what you'd expect. It's these little things, these subtle changes, nuances that just add character to a performance and really make it one's own.
Oh, it's so true.
I really liked that. Instead of like in the original, outlining this minor triad.
Ooh, so true.
She eliminates this middle note, which is also kind of funny in terms of the harmony, because it's the middle note of any triad, i.e. the third note, that determines if it's minor or major. So in Roy Orbison's case, he's outlining the minor triad. But we're actually in D, which we can hear in the instrumentation. And this note, the top note, is turning it into a seventh chord because it's the seventh note of D. So KD, by choosing not to sing this one, just further sort of increases the harmonic ambiguity of what we're hearing. With this clash here, it does change the sound, I think, no matter how subtle it might be.
But it's true, oh, it's so true.
And kind of gives more prominence to this repeated bass part, which, as I said before, I really love.
Even more than I did.
She is loving those mini yodels, as I will call them. And the slower tempo means her longer sustained notes are even longer than in the original, which brings about a nice relationship with the backing instrumentation that we're hearing. They are more rhythmic, so that's where we get our rhythms. KD can really lean into these longer notes. Calmer, we can kind of sit back and listen to them. We don't know what she's going to do. Is she going to do these voice breaks or these slides, or just let her rich vibrato play its course?
Oh, darling, what can
In that phrase, we really got a bit of everything. And then let's get to the wow moment. Yeah, powerful. I don't really need to say much more. Let's carry on until the end. I guess there's about a minute left. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please consider supporting me. Patreon has a bunch of exclusive benefits, behind the scenes videos, additional reaction content, Q&A videos, and more. For a one-time donation, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. And a huge thank you to these lovely people on the screen now.
I'll be crying, 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 yeah,
Making the arms tingle. Well, safe to say the crowd loved that one. And rightly so, really, really good performance. It's a lovely song. I just love its structure, how it builds up slowly. First chorus low down. And we get that before the next verse. Then the next time it comes, we've moved up. And then obviously into this last. Predominantly straight tone singing. There were some hints at vibrato, but they are so subtle compared to the intense fluctuations we were hearing before. And towards the end, for the big climax finish, now it starts coming through. Nice classic cadential chord progression at the end there as well. Lovely song, lovely song. I don't really have too much more to say on the performance. I'll just be listening to this over and over and really listening out for these affectations that she does. The freedom with the rhythms. Tempo rubato, which literally means in robbed time. This is essentially where you speed up or slow down as you want. It really, really adds emotion to performances, particularly with piano playing, for example, rather than just being a robot. The only difference here is the instrumentation in the background does need to keep some sort of rhythmic rigidity or structure. If you are playing piano accompanying yourself, then you have control over everything, but she only has control over her voice, over the melody. So all the other instrumentalists are just moving on as normal in a kind of linear fashion, but she is implementing so much rhythmic freedom. We cannot know what she's going to do. It keeps us engaged, excited. She'll come in a bit early or come off a bit late. Really interesting all round. I am going to go and listen to this a few more times now. I'm sure I've missed quite a lot in there. Let me know other performances by KD you think I should check out, or which ones are your favorite. And thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. Would really appreciate a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.